It seems like we got a brand new Kang rumored casting. Rumor has it that Coleman Domingo is going to be our brand new Kang. I would honestly, you guys not gonna agree with me on this. I prefer they just kept Jonathan Majors as Kang.
I agree.
But here's the thing, and this shouldn't be like a situation. I could understand why they wouldn't keep Jonathan Majors as Kang. Now, if Coleman Domingo looks familiar, that's because he's an Emmy Award-winning actor, and on top of that, you've most likely seen him in Fear the Walking Dead, and you probably saw him in the movie Candyman and the TV show Euphoria. So let's just say he has a resume. I thought that they weren't gonna go with the Kang stuff anymore after the whole Jonathan Majors situation. I thought that they were just gonna go the Dr. Doom route and have him be the main person that takes over. And now we're hearing that they're just gonna continue with Kang. And honestly, here's where I stand on that. I think they should keep him as Kang because he already set the groundwork for the type of character that Kang is. I can't see anyone stepping in and trying to fill in those shoes with the very limited screen time that Kang has already had, even in Ant-Man where he had like the dumbest death, quote unquote, ever. Welcome to another episode of Kaylex Encounter, and if you've been here before, no Kaylex. He still laid down groundwork for that. So for someone else to now come in, it's just gonna feel like he's emulating Jonathan Majors. And it's gonna be like, okay, well now we know you're just trying to play Jonathan Majors as Kang and not Kang.
Yeah.
Jonathan Majors was playing Kang.
Here's my whole thing on it. This was Marvel's plan all along. When did he get declared guilty?
Like
2 weeks ago, maybe?
Yeah,
2 or 3
it's
weeks ago?
about to be like a week and a half type. Yeah.
They wanted this to happen. They wanted him out of because it was already bad PR for them. They had that casting for months.
How is it? Yeah, because when it first initial happened, everybody was talking about him actually doing like crazy harm to her.
Bro got found guilty of self-defense.
Prosecutors argued Majors had been psychologically and emotionally abusive to Jabari during the couple's relationship. However, the defense said it was Jabari who attacked Majors back in March. The jury was shown pictures of Jabari's hand and head injuries, along with surveillance video from last March in New York City. Majors and Jabari got into a fight in a chauffeured SUV when Jabari grabbed Majors' cell phone because she saw a text message from another woman. The incident spilled out onto the street, where you can see Majors trying to push Jabari back into the vehicle before he takes off running. She then chases after him.
The problem is that it's terrible press. And here's the thing, if you look up the headlines, a lot of people are just saying Jonathan Majors guilty. And it's like, yes, he is. Literally, he is. I don't disagree with that. But nobody's talking about what is he guilty for.
It took the jury roughly 6 hours to find actor Jonathan Majors guilty of assaulting and harassing his ex-girlfriend Grace Jabari. But Majors was found not guilty on the most severe charge, third-degree assault with intent to injure, and acquitted on count 3, aggravated harassment.
Yo, people see Jonathan Majors guilty, and then they come up with their own stuff. Like, I think he's guilty for this. You feel me? Yo, listen, I found I was under the post from Comic Book itself announcing, what's his name? Dominic,
I was about to say Dominic the Coco. That's what I was about to say.
Lei? Dominic De Coco. Come Dominic De Coco. Bravo.
Coleman Domingo. We gonna put some respect on my boy's name. Coleman Domingo.
Coleman Domingo. I go to the comments, see what they talking about. I think I'm gonna just turn my comment section off. Could you do that on Instagram?
Just don't go into the comments, bro.
Just don't go into the comments, right? One guy, he says, "We want Majors," and then the bots came. You want a sex offender as the antagonist of your saga?
Sex offender is crazy.
When was this established?
No, that's crazy.
And he doubled down multiple times, like, yo, I know what I'm saying. Sex offender.
Hold on, now I'm just, with the way that he's talking, Jonathan Majors.
You would think he knows something we don't know, right?
Wait.
Nah, this is what he said. He said he was found guilty of assault. So yes, a sex offender.
Oh my.
I don't think bruh knows what he's talking about. And now we have people like this spreading further misinformation, not fully knowing what they're talking about. In his mind, he's completely right. He did the research, he knows what he's talking about. He is completely wrong. He did no research and has no idea what he's talking about.
This is the thing, and I think that's the main reason why Disney is like, yo, you know what, we just gonna pack it up right here. Because this is the type of situation, If there's anything that an actor could come back from, it's this. So officially, Jonathan Majors was charged with a misdemeanor assault in the 3rd degree, recklessly causing physical injury, and harassment in the 2nd degree. Now,
Assault to the 3rd degree sounds a lot crazier than what it actually is. Because you hear assault to the 3rd degree, you would assume murder to the 3rd degree. So you're thinking some of the worst murders, you feel me?
then he also got charged with harassment
To the 2nd degree.
to the 2nd degree. The major stuff that he got like charged or didn't get charged with was like actually like beating on her. Everybody said no, he wasn't abusive. He wasn't like out here just like beating on her every night or whatever, right?
He was just rough while trying to run away.
Yeah, too rough while trying to run away.
Trying to run away.
Yeah,
Too
and so
rough. It's crazy.
This jury did not believe, by its verdict, that Jonathan Majors intended to cause any kind of substantial injury to the victim. Instead, what they found was that his actions were reckless.
I do really feel like Jonathan Majors should stay as Kang. The reason why he's not Kang anymore and why they fired him is legit because Disney doesn't want the headache. Partially, it might just be because of the way they saw the Flash perform. I have to say it. Ezra Miller, the way Ezra Miller was running around wreaking havoc, that's a DC property, but it was the repercussions of that. Just seeing that, and I rock with that. There were people that were like, yo, I'm not watching this movie because Ezra Miller was bugging. You didn't really have to read headlines. We just knew Ezra Miller was just not in.
That's kind of an issue for me. I don't agree with that. Read your headlines, do your research, know why you're upset.
No.
Don't get upset because TikTok told you you should be upset.
Of course, I 100% agree with that. But with Ezra Miller, it's a different situation. On camera, Ezra Miller choked Shorty out.
Think you want to fight? Is that the deal?
Whoa, bro.
Fight?
Damn, bro, they could recast him, bro.
No, they can't. That's because you ain't watched Loki. Personally, I think it's too late. Majors played a major. With him playing Victor Timely and reprising his role as He Who Remains. He actually played a multiple variants inside season 2. His face is everywhere. There's no just recasting him. I would say if this was before season 2, if they would have waited to release season 2 of Loki or did any of that, then maybe the recasting could have happened. But because he was so heavy and influential in season 2, it's nearly impossible now. And we also got the ending of Quantumania where literally every single one of the motherfuckers look like him.
Yeah, but they're not gonna try to combat that, bro. They're not gonna try to deal with the audience. I have an issue with just the headlines. And that's the reason why it took us so long to even touch on this topic. Because I remember when this first happened, it was something that came up where we were like, yo, we could talk about this. Because everybody and their mother on YouTube was talking about it. But with the way that we just saw the headlines, it was like, yo, we kind of should take it easy. Like, we're not just gonna talk about it because we had our ideas on it, but it was like, yo, let's just wait till it comes out in court and all that. Like, anytime something like this happens, usually we'll just wait. I don't know, I just don't like the headlines. I think it's very dangerous. And I think that this should be a lesson to all of us as men, just being mindful of our space. I'm talking about like ourselves physically, and then also how we interact with other people. That's one. And then two, a lesson on media literacy, like just reading up on stuff, because yes, he was charged. I'm not saying I condone what he did, but if they just put it in the self-defense aspect, it's a lot more understandable that, okay, maybe somebody did get hurt, because it's guaranteed he got hurt too, but nobody cares about that. Yeah, then they're gonna laugh at him. So, what do you guys think about this whole Jonathan Majors situation? Down in the comment section below, and we'll see you in the next encounter.
I just say, I was wondering